Jain philosophy is extremely important. I have shared this mind map. As I said in previous class, don't get, it's very simple once you try to listen to what I am teaching. If you focus on that, this will get clarity. You'll have the clarity. Interestingly, the Jaina we discussed in the last class, we discussed about, this Jaina community, Jaina tradition. Jaina community in India, population wise, India has 120 crores type of something population. Jaina population is less than Jaina population in previous census it was I think something around 44 lakhs. Buddhist population is almost more 1 crore, 1 crore. So Jaina population that way in entire Indian population it goes to 0.04%. Very less. Jaina population in Indian, it's almost less than half of Buddhist population. Very less. But literacy rate, in India, the most literate people, if you have any community, literacy rate of Jaina people are 95%. While average Indian literacy rate is something, 60. Jaina community is most rich community. If you have in Indian community, if you see most rich people, who is the richest person in India? You know the name? Richest person in India. Just Google. Adani. Now it's Gautam Adani. Gautam Adani is Jaina. Richest person in India is Jaina. And the community itself is very, very rich. Not just in monetary terms, also in education, industry. They are sitting at the top, media house. Most of they although they are in population, you can see 0.04%, very less. But economy wise and otherwise. Why I am discussing this? Because this philosophy has an inherent relation with the development of community. What they believe, what a person belief system is there, that is very much connected with the development of the society. There is a very good research, if you want, there is a philosopher called Max Weber, a British philosopher, very famous, Max Weber. He did a very interesting research how Protestant religion has contributed to the development of industrial revolution in the Britain. In United Kingdom, how Protestant ideology contributed to the development of, and he did not did a research on India's Asian religion, but he makes a point that Hindu belief system is not so much, not oriented for the society development. Perhaps he was not aware of the Jaina community, the kind of Jaina people they have, contributed to the. So this shows that intrinsically there is a very, deeper connection with what somebody's philosophical belief is and how the society, what are the different aspects of society. One very quick example I'll give. In India, mostly people in India and Asia, let us say, people feel they are really in relaxed mode. Why? Because you have a cyclic life. Suppose some pleasures you can't enjoy in this life, you can enjoy in the next life. So you feel in a relaxed mode. If you go to villages, people are sitting relaxedly. Okay, doesn't matter, it will happen, don't worry. While in the West, in Judeo-Christian tradition. You have only one life. You live only once. Now in one life you have to enjoy all the pleasures. Because after your death, you have to lie down in the cemetery and wait for the final judgment day. Till then, nothing. While here you have so that way Asian countries or those who believe in that, they are relaxed. So you can see a direct connection with the belief system, which is a philosophical system, and the society. Just keep in mind, don't think over this is a belief system, doesn't matter. It has a direct connection with the society. Now coming to Jaina philosophy. So, this is a very interesting but also common feature. This also occurs in one of the right. So, actually the photograph is of 5 blind men trying to identify an elephant. I hope you have seen the document, Google document, everybody. Yeah. So it's taking time. I'm not going to change the setting. But anyway, here is actually a photograph where there are 5 men. But text is also not possible. So actually there is a photograph where 5 men, blind people, they are trying to identify an elephant. And somebody has got its trunk and they are saying, oh, it's like a snake. Somebody has got its leg, calling it like a tree. Somebody sees its stomach, yes, it's like a ball. Somebody got its tail, telling it's like a broom or rope. So this idea has been used to a big extent in Jaina philosophy. And as we discussed, whenever we are speaking of philosophy, you have to think in terms metaphysics, epistemology, and ethics. So we are discussing metaphysics. So in Jaina metaphysics, this theory of Anekantavada, which means the doctrine of multifold aspects. So metaphysics is what is the reality? What is the ultimate reality? Whenever the question is related to metaphysics, means what is the reality? How the world exists? What are the constituents of the world? So the moment comes to metaphysics, in your mind, this is to describe what is the ultimate reality? How the world exists? So to answer that, Jaina metaphysics, they develop a doctrine called Anekantavada. Doctrine of Anek means un means no, ek means one, so not one. And anta, an, eka, anta. Ant means end, ek means one, and an means no. That means, and here means actually it's not one side. Not, so Anekantavada means so there is not just one end through which you can define the reality. So that means you need to have multifold aspects, not one-sided. For example, this table, when you are looking at the table, you are just looking at one portion. You think that you are looking at a table, but You can't see, you never ever see anything in its entirety. Just think in this term. Have you seen anything in its totality? For example, you are looking at the pen. Whatever you look, you never see in its totality. What is its back you are not seeing. What's inside also you are not seeing. So always you see only one side. So you need to have these multifold aspects. So Jaina tradition brings beautifully this theory. It synthesizes lots of ideas, very good ideas into this philosophy. So one of ideas is Anik Antawad. Just go back to the elephant's photograph. 5 men, blind men, trying to identify the reality. Nobody gets the entire elephant. But they are true in their own way. You are not getting the elephant is not true, but partially. So, multifold aspects. Jaina metaphysics is saying reality is not, can't be just seen from the one end. You need to have multiple ends. So, in metaphysics, we need to discuss how the reality exists. Then, the theory of substance, Drumya. So, what is the substantial reality? That we will discuss in. If you see the mind map, in that these topics are there. So, theory of substance we will discuss, and then we will discuss what is the jeev, what is the soul, how the idea of soul has been discussed. Self, soul, which in Sanskrit or in Jaina terminology is called jiva. Substance is called dravya. So these are Sanskrit equivalent, very helpful if you want to. But otherwise, if you know English, that's a good enough. So you should know theory of substance. By the way, these are technical terms. This theory of substance, that is why I prefer Sanskrit terms so that it gets identified what I am talking about. Aneka, doctrine of multifold aspects. In many books you will find different translations. But in Sanskrit, it's only one word. So it's very helpful in order, if you want to learn philosophy in a deeper sense, try to get into the original language. Be it Buddhist philosophy, be it Jaina philosophy, be it Hindu philosophy. It's always advisable to get into the original term. Otherwise, translations are very confusing. Don't worry, this is introductory class, so we can work with the translation. So, doctrine of multifold aspects. So, we will discuss this first. Before we discuss how Jainas are defining, let us have a comparative aspect. So, there is a, here we will take 3 main standpoints. One, Advaita Vedanta, which is very important and most popular Hindu philosophy. Buddhism, I presume you already know. Anybody who does not know Buddhist philosophy, basics of Buddhist philosophy at least, raise your hand. Everybody knows basic philosophy of Buddhism. So I presume you already know. This Advaita Vedanta we have discussed in the beginning class. Whatever we discussed Upanishadic concepts, that's Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. So we have already discussed this. And Jaina view we are going to discuss. So Advaita Vedanta says the reality is ultimately non-dual. Advaita means there is no subjective objective difference. It's eternal, and they define reality as a Brahman, and the world as an illusion, Maya. So ultimate reality is absolute reality. They are defining that ultimate reality is absolute, and it does not change. Whatever change you are seeing in this world is your illusion. It's Maya. So for them, ultimate reality is always one, constant. It never changes. Changes, according to Vedanta, changes occur due to your own illusion. It's Maya. Clear? This we have already discussed.
So, sir, I'm not familiar with the first lecture. Did you say Advaita Vedanta uses an analogy of a drum? Did you use the word drum just now? Drum?
Drum.
The reality.
Brahma. B-R-H-M-A. Brahma. So Brahma.
Brahma.
Absolute reality.
Yeah, okay.
For them, if you read the document which I have shared, in that term is defined.
Okay.
So Brahma, Satyam, Jagat, Mithya, that's their very standard statement. It means the Brahma is the truth. The Brahman, B-R-H-M-A-N, Brahman. It's not Brahma, the creator God, this is absolute, ultimate reality. So it's eternal. Eternal means it does not change any time. It's eternal. While Buddhists are saying just opposite to it. Buddhists never say that reality is eternal. They say it's momentary, every moment it is changing. Momentariness, impermanence, anicca, anitya. That's there. While Brahman never changes. Buddhists are saying just opposite to that. They are saying reality is impermanent, every moment it changes. So, but how reality exists, so they say that previous moment, they say that these atoms are changing every moment. But how the pen exists, so previous atoms, they have given this to a new atom. So it's a continuum of unchanging reality. Imagine a flame of a lamp. So flame of a lamp, every moment it is changing. The previous flame has given rise to next flame. So they are saying it is every moment it is changing. And that is how it is functional. According to Advaita Vedanta, the reality is, it's not changing, so it can't be functional. Whatever we see, it is functional, but it is illusion. Buddhists are saying something different. They are saying reality is changing every moment, and that is why it is functional. The word is in the movement. So it's impermanent. Now what Jainas are saying, they are saying that Anekanda, they say neither you can see just the one end the way Vedantis are saying, nor you can see the Buddhist the way Buddhists are saying. You have to see the multifaceted reality. Multi-manifold. So when they define reality, they say they bring these two opposite things and they present in phases. So one phase is reality is impermanent, another phase is reality is absolute. They try to synthesize these two. They say that the reality is functional, so it changes. Utpad Vyaya, that means it gets created, it's destroyed, but it's also constant. Utpad Vyaya Dhruvam Satyam. So arising and passing away, that's impermanence, but it's also constant. So Dhruv, which is Utpad Vyaya Dhruvam Satyam. That's a term which Jaina philosopher uses. So Jaina view encompasses both permanence, impermanence, and it emphasizes the coexistence of contradictory attributes of the same object. Then at the same moment, they are saying that it exists for eternity. So we'll discuss in detail how they are positing this reality. So what they are doing actually, that they are saying that this Anekantavad, it says that, as I said, Utpad and Vyaya. Utpad is arising and passing away, and Dhruva is the permanence or always eternal. So they are saying that reality must be understood through multiple perspectives, and any single perspective of reality is incomplete. So they define that any substance, any vastu, so now we are discussing the substance, how they are defining substance. So they say any vastu, any substantial reality has ananta, infinite dharma, infinite properties. This is substantial reality. They are saying it has infinite property, not one or two. Color is one property, shape another property, material aspects another property. again, this material aspect is reduced into atoms and subatomic particles and whatever. So any substantial reality has to have infinite property. And then they, so substance, it has infinite property. Some of its property are permanent property. And some of its property, so substance, take example of this pen. So it has some permanent property and some impermanent property. So they are defining how these both are not contradictory. So they are saying that this pen has some impermanent property like shape. If I crush this pen, shape will get deformed. Okay? If I leave this pen in the sunlight, its color will fade away. So this is substance, it has impermanent property like shape, color. Permanent property, if you crush the pen, it will reduce to substance, atoms. You can never ever, even if you burn it, again its energy will be transformed into other, if some ashes will be there. You cannot destroy its those properties, which are at atomic and subatomic level. You cannot never ever destroy it. So it has certain permanent properties like atoms. Let us say atoms for time being. So those are its permanent properties. Within those impermanent property, there are some properties so this they call it, so the technical terms actually are more preferable. They define as a dharma. And this they define as a guna. This means mode. Like in mobile phone, you have different modes. In this mode, you can change the mode. So this impermanent shape color, you can change the mode, shape permanent property. This further gets divided into so this is also called paryaya. How many of you think that I should use Sanskrit terms as well? Only one. Okay, but it's okay. You note it down. I'm not going to write it, but you note it down. So they call this paryaya. Paryaya means multiplicity. So they divide this further into two: swaparyaya and paraparyaya. So intrinsic mode, as I said, this impermanent, so you can change the mode. Some modes are intrinsic and some modes are not intrinsic. From example, it will get clear that so we know the color, shape, they are impermanent properties. Shape, color of this pen. Now, some of its quality, it has its intrinsic. Intrinsic means its own. Intrinsic is a heavy term, but use it. Intrinsic, its own characteristic, like pen. One day, you are looking at mobile. No, don't read. You know, this reading won't make any sense. It's very difficultly written unless you attend a class. Try to take notes and then you read. I have already shared the document. So the reading you should have done yesterday night. When you are in class, don't read, try to listen. If you have difficulty, you can interrupt and ask me question. So this penness, This philosophy is very difficult. If you don't pay 100% attention, you won't get it. It's not. I'm trying to bring this huge idea into just 1 or 2 hours. Not. So, and if you focus, it will help you a lot. Not just to pass the exams. I did not study all this to pass the exams. It will help you in a long run, especially if you are a monk. It will help you. And doesn't matter it's China or whatever. It's very important. So they are defining intrinsic property. This pen has some intrinsic property like its penness. The pen. Its functionalities to write. So that has its intrinsic property.
Nature of the pen.
Yes, intrinsic. According to the penness, I'm not saying the nature of pen. Nature has multiple. Its nature is blue, its nature is sharp, its nature is solid. All these are natures. I'm saying its penness, its functionality is intrinsic. That is how this is also made of plastic. This is also made of plastic. But penness is intrinsic. This functionality it cannot write. But its functionality is right. So intrinsic property, everything has its intrinsic swabhav, its own swaparaya, its own nature. And some things are non-intrinsic. Right? So everything, whatever you see in this world, whatever exists as a substance, have these two, some permanent and impermanent. Permanent atoms we have reduced, don't worry much about it. This is, we are discussing impermanent properties. Some are intrinsic, some are non-intrinsic. Intrinsic like pen, penness of pen.
So, writing of the pen is
The function of writing, not writing, function of writing is intrinsic to this pen. No, the way this pen will write, no other pen in the entire world will write the way this is writing. So it has its unique intrinsic property. You take an pebble on the street that has the shape, color, texture. Nowhere else in the world you will find the same pebble. Individual you have your own intrinsic property. There is nobody exists 100% like you. So you have, but unique properties. Intrinsic property is its own. So how intrinsic? Because it's a technical term, so I'm using this term, which is mostly translated. But there are non-intrinsic properties. For example, its color. Color is shared by blue color. You also have a blue color pen. No, there you can see blue color pen. Same blue. So that blue, you also must be having something blue. So color is its non-intrinsic property. The round shape, it's not non-intrinsic. This bottle is also round. It's non-intrinsic property. Every substance will have non-intrinsic property. Now, in order, this is very important. I was discussing all this just to come to here. In order to know anything in the world, in order to know this pen, you can't know its color, shape, unless you know all blue, all roundness. In order to know just this pen, you need to know everything. What the color, shape of everything, because the non-intrinsic properties are shared by other things as well. So you can't know this pen, even this small pen, because it has some non-intrinsic property like atoms or plastics, or this color which is shared by other properties, other different objects. So this philosophy says that this philosophy develops an ecology of, ecology means the entire universe is an ecosystem and everything is connected to everything. And you can't know one thing if you don't know everything. So in order to know one thing, you need to know everything. Why? Because the things are shared. So everything, its color is connected to all the colors, blue color in the entire this universe. So it develops this philosophy, Jaina philosophy, that everything is intrinsic. Because of its non-intrinsic property, everything is connected to everything.
because of this non-intrinsic nature substance. This is something like this current.
No, what it is trying to, it's just from the theory of substance it is developing. The moment you go there, you see that you can't know this pen. Knowledge of this pen cannot happen if you don't know attributes, because this has many attributes. So you need to know all the blueness to define this blue. And do you know all the blue? No. Nobody knows. I mean, Jaina philosophy will say that yes, there are the Sankaras and Kevali Gurus who know, they are omniscient. But right now we don't know all the blueness. And unless you don't know all the blueness of this, or this is made of atom, so you can't know if you know the inherent atomic properties of the entire existing atom. That way they develop this ecological perspective. Everything is connected to everything. Just this much you take, that everything has a connection with everything. So this is their theory of substance. So what are, in nutshell, three things. Every substance has infinite characteristic. Number one, not in mind or not in paper. Everything has infinite characteristic. Those characteristics falls under, some are permanent, some are impermanent. And those impermanent characteristics, those are non-inherent to that substance. In order to, through that, the entire cosmic connection is there with everything. So that way everything gets connected to everything. Okay? First line, things have infinite characteristic. Clear? This pen has infinite characteristic. Everybody agrees? Infinite character. Right now just become Jaina, don't worry, don't argue. Just this is the introduction. This pen has infinite characteristic. Some of its characteristics are permanent, some impermanent. Some impermanent characteristics of this are shared with many things. So in order to know this, you need to know all the things. And that is how one thing is connected to everything. Clear? So this is the theory of substance. The technical terms are given here. So paraya, parvaraya, guna and dravya, nitya, anitya, dharma, par. Now, theory of substance. They define the substance are nature of substance. Nature of substance. Just as there are two. Again, so dravyas, astikaya, that means existent. Astikaya, English translation is existent. Asti means exist, kaya means to perform. So anything that occupies space are extended in space. They are astikaya. Like this pen is astikaya or nastikaya. So they define it into just nastikaya and astikaya. So this pen requires space or does not require space? It requires space. So whatever you see in this word, they all are astikaya. Nastikaya means what does not require space. Only one thing is there, which is time. It does not require space. So it does not have a form or a body, does not occupy space. So, nastikaya. So this is how the nature of substance, their existence and non-existence. Now, non-existence does not mean here time does not exist. It exists, but it does not require space. That is why the Sanskrit terms are more appropriate. I don't know how to translate Nasti. Now, Astika, whatever exists, in Jaina theory, they are defined in two. So, substance, existent, non-existent. This is time. One example. Now, existent are again divided into two. Jiva, soul, and without soul. So, substance, some are existent, some are non-existent in space, non-existent space in time, existence, a soul, and without soul. So, in without soul, there are four. Without soul, there are four: matter, space, principle of motion, and principle of rest.
Third one is Ajna.
Jiva, Jiva, without soul. So, Pudgala. Now, don't confuse this Pudgala with the Buddhist term Pudgala. Are you aware of Buddhist Pudgala? There is a text called Pudgala Payati. Have you heard of that? Pudgala Payati in Pali. Anyway, there in Pali also the same term is used, but it has a different connotation. There Pudgala means something which has a life. So don't confuse. The same terms are used differently in different philosophies. Just those if you know. If you don't know, this is fine. But in Pali also, in Buddhist philosophy, this term is also used, has a different meaning, not this meaning. Don't get confused when you learn Pudgala or Pudgala in Pali or Buddhist philosophy. In Jaina, Pudgala means something which is matter. It has no soul. Space also has a no soul. So substance, existent, non-existent, soul, without soul, four. Pudgala, Akash, Dharma, Adharma. Space, matter. Dharma, here dharma does not mean religion or dharma means Buddha's teaching. Or here dharma means something which helps the motion. Which helps the motion. And or dharma means which stops the motion. For example, a fish, if it has to swim, the water becomes dharma. It helps it move. The friction, the rough surface, if you roll this, if it is a rough surface, it will stop the motion. So that friction is dharma. It stops the motion. It helps the motion. So dharma is perfect. Don't worry too much about this. So their substance. This is their theory of substance. Now this soul, we discussed about without soul, now we discuss this soul, Jiva. Now as I said in previous class, the soul or Jiva or Atma is central to Jaina philosophy. So they define the Jiva or soul or Atma is characterized by consciousness. Soul is something is Jiva, something has a soul, something it should have a consciousness. It should have consciousness. I hope you already know what is consciousness. If you are aware in the class, you are conscious. So consciousness, Chetana. This is again a technical term, Chetana. Chitta, Chetana. So they define Chaitanya Lakshanam Jiva. Consciousness is fundamental characteristic of the soul. So this is the standard statement about how they define jiva. So it should have, if it is a jiva, if it is a soul, it should have a consciousness. And this Atma or Jiva, now how does this Atma exist? How does this exist? What is shape? What is its characteristics? So different philosophy, they define it differently. Vedanta, the Upanishadic philosophy, for them, what is shape of Atma? So they are non-dualist. They will say Atma is not different from Param Atma. Jivam Bhinna Napara, Brahma Satyam. So Jivatma is not different from Brahman. So you are not different from Brahman. So there is no you. This is not Jaina philosophy. I'm just comparing. This is Vedanta philosophy, which we took, the Vedic philosophy. So they believe that there is only one Atma. There is no multiple different souls are not there. There is only one entire Jiva is just one, Brahman. It is manifesting in different forms. As I gave one analogy, if you remember, that there is a powerhouse. Now power is coming through this light. This light thinks that, oh, this light is different. That light, it is coming through fan. It is coming through electricity. But source is one. Only one powerhouse. So that is Vedanta philosophy defines Atma. And they say that there are no individual souls. Illusion, if you look at individuals. Buddhist, they say there is no soul. Charvaka also say there is no soul. For them, they define the Jeev should have consciousness. So consciousness is the soul. Chaitanya Jiva Lakshana. So, according to Jaina philosophy, if something is conscious, it has an Atma, it has a Jiva. Now, this is what we will discuss now. This is something unique which does not exist in any other philosophy. How they define Jiva or soul. So, there are two types of Jiva. Bound soul and liberated soul. So Jiva or soul. Two types. Or bounded and liberated. Two types of jivas. Making sense? We are liberated souls or bounded souls? Bounded souls. So bounded souls, they are entangled in cycle of birth and death and rebirth and death, and due to accumulation of karma. So why we are bounded? Because if we are karma are there, so we are now bounded soul. This is very important. This is different from other philosophy. Bounded soul, they are categorizing into power, immobile. So, jiva, bounded and liberated, bounded to mobile. Mobile is move, which is in motion. Mobile and in motion, which cannot move. So, in immobile beings, that includes earth, water, fire, air, plants. This is very important. In Jaina tradition, even the stable has a soul. This is also jiva. Earth, water. Jaina, if you hit an animal, Jaina will feel bad. But even if you hit a stone, with a stone. If you hit a stone with animal, of course, they are non-violent people, they will feel bad. But if you hit a stone with a stone, they will feel bad about it. That as well. In their philosophy, even stones, the immobile things, they also have a jiva. Their consciousness is not, awakened yet. But even what we think non-living things, they also have, in Jaina philosophy, they also have a jiva. So they divide actually jiva having, this power or mobile, anti-mobile. Mobile, 4 types of jivas are there, which are mobile. 4 categories. Now I'm going to this. And immobile, 1 sense. And this mobile jivas, some have 2 sense, some have 3 sense, 4 sense, 5 sense. So everything is jiva, everything is living in a way, but some has only 1 sense, like stone, plants. They have only 1 sense, which is tactility. You can touch. Plants is visible. There, have you seen touch me not plant? Yes. You touch and it will. Similarly, stones also. If you touch with affection, according to Jaina philosophy, it has that sense. So 1 sense, immobile. Immobile like plants and other things, stones. They have only tactility. And then some souls are there, some jivas are there, some beings are there which have 2 senses. So this is touch. What are 5 senses? Everybody should know 5 senses. What are 5 senses we have? Eye, ear, nose, tongue, eye. So eye is for vision, tongue is for taste, tactility is for touch, ear is for hearing. So we are in 5 senses. Like we all have 5 senses, I hope. Intact 5 senses. Dogs also have 5 senses. Cats, they all have, donkeys, 5 senses. No, I'm not comparing us with the donkey. But yes, we all have 5 senses. 4 senses. For example, so 1 sense means only touch. 2 sense means touch plus taste. 3 means touch plus taste plus touch plus taste plus hearing. Not hearing. What is another? Touch, taste, smell. No, smell. Smell. Touch plus taste. Here only touch. Now touch plus taste plus smell. Here plus touch plus taste plus smell plus hearing. And 5th is touch plus taste plus smell plus hearing plus vision. Vision, they can see. So we have all 5: touch, taste. Now there are some animals which don't have vision. For example, one sense, 5 sense. No, sorry. This vision is 5, no? This vision is 5. So there are, 5 we already know, we have 5 senses. But there are certain animals which don't have vision. For example, but they can hear. For example, there are bats. Yeah, but they hear. So when they move with the sound. Supersonic sound. So they don't see, they hear. There are other animals, some insects like ants. They can't hear, they can't see. They just smell. They move with the smell. There are some animals which don't even smell, just touch and taste. For example, these earthworms or those type of. There are some, they can't see, they can't touch, they can't smell, they can't hear. The cells, C cells. They can't see, they can't hear, they can't see. No, they can't smell. They just have taste. They taste and they have touch. So this is how their idea of jiva is there. 5 senses. Some of them are sthava, immobile. So immobile, only one sense. Mobile, two 5 senses, including animals and humans. So 2 to 5 senses. They are mobile. So the term is thus. It means mobile. And then second is Mukti Jeev. So we will discuss this later. Who are the Mukti Jeevas? Who are liberated souls? Like, who are the Arhants, Kevali, Tirthankara? These are the terms. We will discuss it. The time is almost up now. This is the class here. Document you already have. What we discussed today, read that, and in addition to that, read other things also, so that when you come to the next class, you are clear about it. Okay? Fine? Any questions? Where is that attendance register? Yes, sir. Everybody has signed? One more point.
Okay,